In today's episode of Today in World War II, April 14th, German paratroopers pooped the bed in Norway. A very heroic Australian is awarded a posthumous Victoria Cross in Tobruk. The very first U.S. destroyer sinks a German submarine. Speaking of submarines, the hero submarine of Malta, British submarine, uh, goes missing, sunk. And finally, even the top propagandist uh, in the Soviet Union is taken down a peg or two by his boss because he was so awful. Let's get started. Okay, on April 14th, 1940, German paratroopers of the 7th Flieger Division were dropped into Donbass, and I know that's mispronounced. If there's any Norwegians out there, I apologize. After and well, they had a surprisingly high casualty rate. Now you may be wondering, well, at this point in time, the German paratroopers were the class of paratroops. I mean, this was the first war where they had paratroops, and the Germans took the lead on this, and they were awesome and would be, especially in the just a few weeks in Western Europe. So, wasn't a good sign in their first drop, they would suffer such high casualties. Well, I have analyzed this complete. I mean, I've devoted probably weeks to this, and I went into the dark web. I I did things that I don't feel good about morally, but I finally came to the shocking conclusion about why these paratroopers had such a unexpected high casualty rate. It's because they landed right on the Norwegian 11th Infantry Regiment's camp. So I'm learning from this that if you're a paratrooper and you drop, you don't really want to drop right into an entire regiment of the enemy. I'm just saying. Okay. So I'm just saying. On April 14th, 1941, a very heroic Australian soldier was awarded or would be awarded a posthumous Victoria Cross for his heroism in Tobruk. He led a bayonet charge in Tobruk with his men, despite already being shot in the stomach and the neck. And by his heroism, inspired his comrades to stiffen their resistance, and they kept the Germans and the Italians out of the perimeter in Tobruk. So again, the heroism is beyond description, and I just absolutely have nothing but admiration for anybody who was a combat veteran, number one, much less the ones who make the ultimate sacrifice in a way that wins them posthumously, of course, the highest medal of valor that the country can give. And that's what Corporal John Edmondson did. So, Aussie, 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 that was an amazing job. On April 14th, 1942, the U.S. destroyer USS Roper sank U-boat 85 off of Cape Hatteras. Now let's think about this for a second, okay? Hitler sent his long-range U-boats from France to attack the United States after Pearl Harbor, after December 11th, when Hitler declared war on the United States. They wreaked havoc for most of January, February, March. Now we're in mid-April. And only now a U.S. destroyer sank their first U-boat in our waters, American waters. Again, all hell should be, well, this guy's dead. Hopefully he's there. But the admiral who poo-pooed the British pleas to institute a convoy system immediately, because we knew better than the Brits, right? They were only fighting the U-boats already. But no, we want to do it our way. We're Americans. So it's sad that it took until April 14th, 1942 for a U.S. destroyer to sink a U-boat in our waters. Speaking of submarines, but the good guys, April 14th, 1942, British submarine HMS Upholder went missing in the Mediterranean Sea, based in Malta. It was one of the most successful submarines in British naval history. It was a credit to the submarine force, to the country. And I have read a lot about Upholder, and they what look, they're very, very difficult to be a submarine in the Mediterranean. Not that deep, lots of mines everywhere, and very crowded, you know. So it was difficult. A lot of submarines hit mines. They don't know if she was sunk by German aircraft or was it an Italian torpedo boat. Maybe it was a mine. Nobody really knows. That's the thing about submarines. They just go missing and they just go silent, and you don't know usually, unless you catch them on the surf or something, and there's a report by the attacking plane or sub or destroyer. And so then but usually you don't know. And, you know, feel bad for it because I mean, the whole submarine story was very amazing and frankly, worth knowing, I mean, thinking about. And finally, on April 14th, 1945, the Soviet Union's top propagandist, Ilya Ehrenburg, was formally reprimanded in an unprecedented editorial in the Soviet military newspaper, the Red Star, Krasnaya Zvezda, by his boss, Alexandrov. Why? Why would he do that? Because he was broadcasting and distributing leaflets encouraging Red Army soldiers to commit atrocities against German civilians. Yeah. Well, you ever heard of the phrase, the saying, you know, well, let's say it was a dollar short, okay? The phrase escapes me right now. So let's just say, and too late and a dollar short, okay? Because remember, German territory was not just Germany proper that we think of Germany now. It was also East Prussia. And so the Soviets had been attacking and occupying German territory in East Prussia for a number of months now. And they were murdering and raping women. And I think if you remember back in a previous video that I did, like in the last month or so, or maybe it was even more recent than that. Uh, Lavrentiy Beria, the head of the Secret Service for the Soviet Union, had reported to Stalin that there was unusual large amounts of German women who were killing themselves, and they couldn't figure out why. Wonder what that could be. Too bad they didn't have the dark web back then, so they could find these mysteries out, right? So only with a few weeks left in the war, now they come out and say, well, we probably shouldn't commit atrocities against German civilians. Yeah, good luck with that. All right, thank you for watching this movie. This not this movie, this YouTube channel and its episode. I appreciate it, and I will see you tomorrow.